Throughout the industrial age, we've had what economists call vertically integrated corporations. They do everything from soup to nuts. And about 80 years ago, a Nobel Prize-winning economist named Ronald Coase posed a deceptively simple question. He said, why did these firms exist? He was actually a socialist at the time, and he was looking at the planned economy of Russia, and he looked at General Motors, and he said, that looks like a planned economy to me as well. He wondered why there's no market inside a firm, and why everybody in the entire process of creating something is not a buyer or a seller. Why the draftsman doesn't sell those specifications to somebody else, and why a manufacturing engineer doesn't source every little piece of manufacturing. Why do we have vertically integrated companies? If Adam Smith is right and the open market is the best mechanism to determine how goods and resources and people and information and money are allocated in our economy, why isn't everybody an independent contractor at every step along the way in production? And he said the answer is, and he won a Nobel Prize for saying this, the answer is transaction costs. And he defined that broadly. He really meant the costs of collaboration. He said the costs of search in an open market, of finding all the right people or information to do something, would be totally prohibitive. So we bring that inside the boundaries of a corporation, where we have things like filing cabinets for information and org charts to find people and skills inventories and so on. He said the cost of contracting. If every little activity were a contract, this would be prohibitive. A doctor is going to perform surgery, and he's got to have a contract with 3 nurses and an operating theater and a whole bunch of suppliers of scalpels and equipment and anesthetics and partnerships and contracts with other physicians. Unfeasible. And the big industrialists understood this. Henry Ford had within the boundaries of the Ford Motor Company a power plant, steel mill, shipping company, glass factory. He had mahogany forests in Honduras to get the wood for his cars. Why? Because the cost of transactions, of search, of contracting, of coordination in an open market were bigger than the costs of doing things inside the boundaries of the Ford Motor Corporation. Now, the early days of technology, telephony, of modern travel, of air travel, had the effect of lowering transaction costs, but they also meant that companies could become truly global. And the end result of that was not the unbundling of vertically integrated companies, but companies got bigger, actually, because transaction costs within the firm became lower than those outside the market. But when the internet hit, things began to change, because the internet was a global platform and it was available to everybody. And so that really was at the heart of the initial creation of more network models of the firm. As companies like Cisco figured that they could focus on what you do best and partner to do the rest. That was my poem from a couple of decades ago. I know it's not exactly Longfellow, but you get the idea. Cisco did that, and a network business model conferred competitive advantage to them over their competitors, Nortel, Siemens, Alcatel, Lucent, and so on. But if you look at most corporations today, this dream that I've been talking about for decades of a truly peer-to-peer collaborative world has certainly not really happened. Companies pretty much look like companies. They may still outsource. They may reach out with idea agoras like Innocentive to find the uniquely qualified mind to do a certain part of innovation. But overall, they're still pretty much command and control hierarchies where the most important stuff is inside the corporation. The corporation is still the foundation of capitalism. Well, what if there were a true peer-to-peer platform where we could not only exchange information like the web, we could not only communicate like with email or with social media, but where we could do transactions without a third party in the middle. Well, this is the blockchain, or blockchain technology. And this is the underlying technology of Bitcoin. And it enables us to do safe transactions because we don't need to trust each other. The platform ensures that trust occurs. If I owe you some money and I pay you that money, you are paid that money, even though no one knows who the two parties were. And we may not even know exactly who we are either. We're just paying something that is owed. So let your mind roll on that one. Could we start to imagine smart contracts whereby we negotiate something, we build that into the contract, all the different service delivery levels, the different milestones, the different times when you're going to be paid, and the contract governs, in a sense, the relationship between the two of us, two companies, two individuals, a company and an individual, whatever, to create value, to create a product, a service, or for that matter, a government, to create value, public value, a government service. So this is finally, Ronald Coase must be clapping his hands from up there in economist heaven, if there is such a thing, because finally, we're seeing the rise of a global computational platform that enables us to not just share information and communicate, but to share value and to transact without powerful forces in the middle. So this is beginning to lead to some very radical new models of the corporation. And this is what we're talking about. It's a big part of our new book, Blockchain Revolution, that I'm writing with Alex Tapscott.